welcome to Mouse in the Mitten Trivia Pod, a podcast where you can test your Disney trivia knowledge over a variety of topics. My name's Court and I will be your host. Our game will consist of 5 rounds of 6 questions covering everything from your basic Disney knowledge to some unknown facts. Each question is worth 1 point unless otherwise noted. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mouse in the Mitten. And if you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and the comments down below let us know what your score is. There are things that are always changing and developing and coming true in Disney, and if you are someone who's trying to navigate those waters and need some help, I would love to help plan your dream Disney vacation. To get started, all you got to do is email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com and we can get started. Well, today is St. Patrick's Day, and I know I'm not wearing green today. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm not wearing green. In the state of Michigan, you usually are blue or you're green. I'm neither. I'm red. I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm a little bit on the outside there, but with that being said, I don't have a lot of green. So I got a Winnie the Pooh shirt on, my Tigers hat, so we'll just roll with it. But this first round is dedicated to all things green, so let's get started with question number 1. Who sings a song about how it's not easy to be green, as well as Rainbow Connection? Question: wearing a green dress. Question number 3. What hockey movie has the players wearing green uniforms in the first movie of the trilogy? Question number 4. What 1995 movie is about a town in Texas that starts a soccer team? Question number 5. What 2012 Jennifer Garner movie is about a couple who buries a box in their backyard with the wishes for an infant, and soon an infant is grown in the garden? And question number 6. What Disney Channel original movie is about a kid who finds out about his Irish past and faces a leprechaun in a basketball game? All right, I'm gonna give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on all things green. So question number 1. Who sings a song about how it's not easy to be green, as well as Rainbow Connection? Well, that is, of course, Kermit the Frog. He is, of course, everyone's favorite green frog, and he does sing how it's tough to be green, but he also does sing the Rainbow Connection. Question number 2. What princess is known for wearing a green dress? Well, that is Tiana, of course, of Princess and the Frog fame. Makes sense. From the Bayou Frog, she's a green frog. It ends up turning into a human and everything's green after that. Question number 3. What hockey movie has the players wearing green uniforms in the first movie of the trilogy? Well, that would be The Mighty Ducks. Now, in the second and third one, they switched to the white uniform with the purple that we see the NHL team wear, but in the very first season, they were wearing green uniforms. Question number 4. What 1995 movie is about a town in Texas that starts a soccer team? That is The Big Green. It is a cliche 90s movie. It has the guy from The Sandlot in it that always says, "You're killing me, Smalls." He's in there. Besides that, there's not a ton of really big names, but it's a cool little movie. Question number 5. What 2012 Jennifer Garner movie is about a couple who buries a box in their backyard with the wishes for an infant, and soon an infant is grown in the garden? Well, that is The Odd Life of Timothy Green. Have you heard of this movie? Neither have I, so that probably puts that in perspective on how good this movie was, question mark, potentially. I don't know, I've not seen it and I have zero desire to go and watch it. Last but not least, question number 6. What Disney Channel original movie is about a kid who finds out about his Irish past and faces a leprechaun in a basketball game? Well, that is The Luck of the Irish, a classic Disney Channel original movie filled with exactly what you think it's going to be filled with. There's ups, there's downs, there's friends, there's leprechauns. The leprechaun ends up, instead of in Erie, it's everything you expect out of a Disney Channel original movie, and the perfect film for St. Patrick's Day. So if you get a chance to watch that, highly recommend it, but I hope you're wearing your green, and I hope that you're having a safe holiday. Continuing on now to round number 2. Round number 2 is our fast facts. This round is filled with simple questions that have simple answers. Today's category is Pirates of the Caribbean there? Last week we had a round very similar where I gave the name of a Disney park. You just had to say yes, there's a Space Mountain, or no, there's not. We're going to do the same thing with Pirates of the Caribbean. So let's get started here with question number 1. Disneyland. Question number 2. Magic Kingdom in Disney World. Question number 3. Tokyo Disneyland. Question number 4. Hong Kong Disneyland. Question number 5. Disneyland Park in Paris. And question number 6. Shanghai Disneyland. Now, of course, this is one of my all-time favorite rides. It is just so fun. It's relaxing. Plus, you have that smell that everyone talks about, which is, you smell it more randomly at other places around the world as you travel, and you're just taken right back to the Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's a fun ride. I enjoy it. So let's get started with the parks that have them with a simple yes, no. So question number 1, Disneyland, that is a yes. That is the original location of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Question number 2, Magic Kingdom in Disney World, that one is a yes. And again, that's the one that I'm more familiar with, but I've heard the Disneyland one a little bit longer, a lot more fun. Question number 3, Tokyo Disneyland, that one is a yes. And that one had a major revamp not too long ago, and it looks really cool. That is definitely on the top of my list for the Pirates of the Caribbean ride that I want to see the most. Just based on what I've seen, it looks really, really cool. Question number 4, Hong Kong Disneyland, that one is a no, though, there's been talks like, will they get it? Won't they get that? Only time will tell. Question number 5, Disneyland Park in Paris, that one is a yes. That was one of the first rides that they put in over there, and it was there on opening day, so that one is a yes. Last but not least, question number 6, Shanghai Disneyland, that one is a no. That one, Shanghai does not have one right now. I think that's on the horizon as well. I think they want to obviously have one in all of the locations at some point, so it makes sense that they would want to try to add that. Now, the reason why we did this today, it is the anniversary of when the original Pirates of the Caribbean ride opened. If you want more questions about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, check out episode number 28. That one has a whole category on the Pirates of the Caribbean. Continuing on now into round number 3. Round number 3 is our connecting the circles. The way this round will work is I will ask you 5 questions that may or may not be Disney related, but the answers do relate somehow through Disney. And that's going to be your 6th and final question. What is that Disney connection? So let's get started here with question number 1. What compound word can be used to describe a father who goes above and beyond for their children? Question number 2. What 2005 movie is about a school where kids learn how to be superheroes and a plot to seek revenge on a student's dad has developed? Question number 3. A part of the mind that is responsible or reality testing and a sense of personal identity is known by what 3-letter word? Also, oftentimes people say you can have an inflated one. Question number 4. What 1981 movie is about 2 unlikely friends who get to know each other because they are neighbors and grow up to find each other again when they are adults? Question number 5. What 2004 movie is about the 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team? And question number 6 is, what is that connection? I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, see if you can make that connection, and then I will return. All right, let's get some answers here and see if we can connect those circles. So question number 1. What compound word can be used to describe a father who goes above and beyond for their children? Well, that would be a super dad. I just kind of like the idea of, compound super, dad, mixed together. That is definitely a dad who goes above and beyond for their kids. Question number 2. What 2005 movie is about a school where kids learn how to be superheroes and a plot to seek revenge on a student's dad has developed? That is Sky High. A interesting movie to say the least. Not really sure on how good it really is. I have never seen it, but seems like an interesting movie. Definitely seems like a good plot, kind of. Question number 3. A part of the mind that is responsible or reality testing and a sense of personal identify is known by what 3-letter word? Also, oftentimes people say that you can have an inflated one. That is ego. You can have an inflated ego. Basically, it's a sense of self and what we all sense of ourselves. Obviously, we can go into a whole diatribe on that, but Freud did not give me that enough time to be able to do that at this time. Question number 4. What 1981 movie is about 2 unlikely friends who get to know each other because they are neighbors and grow up to find each other again when they are adults? That is The Fox and the Hound. That is a interesting way to kind of say that movie, to kind of sum up that movie. As kids, they were friends, and then when they become adults, they see each other again. I think that's a good way to kind of summarize that movie. Last but not least, question number 5. What 2004 movie is about the 1980 U.S. Olympic men's hockey team? That is Miracle. And pound for pound, dollar for dollar, that is, in my opinion, the best hockey movie that's ever been made. Mighty Ducks, very good. There's a couple other ones that are out there that are good as well. But in terms of just the movie, the build up, everything else like that, it is phenomenal. It's my all-time favorite hockey movie for sure. So question number 6 here is, what is that connection? So we had answers such as Super Dad, Sky High, Ego, Fox and the Hound, and Miracle. The connection there, those are all movies or roles played by Kurt Russell. If you don't know who Kurt Russell is, yes you do. He is been in a lot of movies. He is known as, he was the voice, one of the young voices in Fox and the Hound. He was Herb Brooks in Miracle. He played Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. He actually has a history that is very, very, very deep in Disney. He has roles that date back to the 60s and 70s, and he is actually personally knew Walt Disney as well. Now, why are we bringing this up? It is his birthday today. So this is a little shout out to him. I doubt he'll see this, but hey, happy birthday, Kurt Russell. I appreciate everything that you've done for us. I look forward to seeing what comes next, but thank you so much for your role as Herb Brooks in Miracle. It was phenomenal, and I loved every minute of it. Continuing on now into round number 4. Round number 4 is typically reserved for our movie anniversaries, and today that will continue. Today we're going to talk about Meet the Robinsons, a fun movie that, in my opinion, is way underrated. It is so cool. The story's cool. The twist at the end is awesome. I really, really like this movie. So let's get started here with question number 1. Within 2, what year did Meet the Robinsons come out in the U.S.? Question number 2. When Lewis meets with potential parents, what kind of sandwich does his new invention make? Question number 3. Who is the other kid in the same room as Lewis at the orphanage and often complains about Lewis keeping him up all night? Question number 4. After Lewis meets many of Wilbur's friends, Lewis asks what Cornelius, Wilbur's dad, looks like. What is Wilbur's response? Question number 5. Meet the Robinsons was the first Disney movie to have what added to the movie? And question number 6. Meet the Robinsons is based on a book with what title? All right, I'm going to give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get some answers here on Meet the Robinsons. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did Meet the Robinsons come out in the US? Well, it came out on March 30th, 2007. So in order to get the point there, would have had to say between 2005 and 2009. So again, kind of during the era where things were a little bit shaky in terms of the movie making. So it makes sense that this one maybe flew under the radar a little bit. Makes sense that this one is a little bit underappreciated as well. Question number 2. When Lewis meets with potential parents, what kind of sandwich does his new invention make? Well, it tries to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which unfortunately the gentleman who potentially could have been his dad, highly allergic to peanuts, and it's covered in peanut butter, allergic reaction, everything else like that. So definitely that meeting did not go well. Question number 3. Who is the other kid in the same room as Lewis at the orphanage and often complains about Lewis keeping him up all night? Well, that is Michael Goob Yugamanian. Something along those lines. I can never pronounce his last name correct, but Goob would get you the point there. And he ends up being a not so great guy towards the later on in the movie. We find out about that later on in the movie. Question number 4. After Lewis meets many of Wilbur's family, Lewis asks what Cornelius, Wilbur's dad, looks like. What is Wilbur's response? That is Tom Selleck, which, if you are not aware, that is who ends up playing the voice of his dad, which is just kind of cool. The fact that he says, yeah, he looks like Tom Selleck, and that's who they got to play the voice of his dad. It's something that's really cool. Little nod there, and just something that when you are watching it, you're like, oh, that's funny. And then it comes to it, and you're like, huh, that's even funnier yet. So it's just one of those funny moments to look back on and laugh. Question number 5. Meet the Robinsons was the first Disney movie to have what added to the movie? Well, that would be the Walt Disney Animated Studios logo featuring Steamboat Willie. So obviously, if you've seen any of the Disney animated movies since this one came out, if you watch from this one to Moana 2 that just came out this past year, that just got released on Disney Plus last week, you will see Steamboat Willie and then the Walt Disney Animation Studios, everything else like that. The first movie that we saw that in at the beginning was Meet the Robinsons. Last but not least, question number 6. Meet the Robinsons is based on a book with what title? Well, that is A Day with Wilbur Robinson by William Joyce, which definitely seems like a really cool title. I have a feeling it probably shows more of Wilbur's perspective and how he comes to end up meeting Lewis and everything else like that, and the events that led to him meeting Lewis. So it definitely seems like it would be an interesting read, especially if you are in love with this movie as much as I am. So definitely a good movie. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's on Disney Plus. It is, I whenever I'm kind of feeling down, kind of feeling blue, this is definitely one of those feel-good movies that kind of pulls me out of that kind of rut. So if you get a chance to check it out, highly recommend it. Continuing on now into round number 5. Round number 5 is going to be a fun anniversary one, and this is going to be all about Test Track, a fantastic ride in Epcot. It is so much fun. So of course, we're going to dedicate an entire round to it because it is the anniversary of the opening of Test Track. It may be down right now, but it still lives in our heart and on YouTube. So let's get started here with question number 1. Within 2, what year did Test Track open in Epcot to the public? Question number 2. Name either the original presenting sponsor or the sponsor that took over in 2012 until the latest refurbishment? Question number 3. What is the fastest speed you can reach while on test track? Question number 4. True or false? Test Track is the only ride or attraction that is an outdoor portion of the ride in Epcot. Question number 5. What is the title of the post-show area that the guests enter once they are off the ride? And question number 6. What attraction did Test Track replace in Epcot? All right, I'm gonna give you a few seconds worth of music, try to come up with those answers, and then I will return. All right, let's get you some answers here on Test Track. So question number 1. Within 2, what year did Test Track open in Epcot to the public? Well, that would be March 17, 1999. So in order to get the point there, what it had to say between 1997 and 2001. Now, originally, it did have a soft opening in December of 1998, but there were a lot of issues that they discovered when they were doing the soft opening that led to a delay until March 17 before the ride was fully up and operational. Question number 2. Name either the original presenting sponsor or the sponsor that took over in 2012 until the latest refurbishment. Well, the original presenting sponsor was General Motors, and in 2012 it turned into Chevrolet. So that is one of the cool things, is that you are essentially test driving a Chevrolet car and trying to see all the different things that it can do. Also makes this one of the fastest rides in Disney, which leads us to question number 3. What is the fastest speed you can reach while on Test Track? Well, that is 64.9 miles per hour. Now, I have heard rumors, and there's nothing to say that this is 100% accurate or not, but I've heard rumors that the reason why it's not 65 miles per hour is because the speed limit in Florida on the highways is 65 miles per hour. And they didn't want to promote going too fast. So that's why it's 64.9 miles per hour. So you're right at about the speed limit of the state of Florida. Question number 4. True or false? Test Track is the only ride or attraction that has an outside portion of the ride in Epcot. That is true. While yes, living with the land, you kind of go outside, but technically you're still covered. You're still in the greenhouse. All the other rides are inside of something. You don't go outside of it at all. That's something that's really unique to Epcot. Now, I get Way of the Water. Technically, that is an attraction that's outside, but there's no virtual queue for it. There's no queues for it. You can't lightning lane it, anything like that. So I don't really consider that one much of a ride or attraction. It's just kind of a walk-through thing. So definitely this one is the only one that has an outdoor portion. Question number 5. What is the title of the post-show area that guests enter once they are off the ride? Well, that is the assembly experience. That is something that kind of shows how the cars are manufactured, how the cars are put together in their shops in Detroit and around the world. But a cool little step-by-step thing that if you're looking to just stay in the air conditioning a little bit longer, it's a good place to hide. Last but not least, question number 6. What attraction did Test Track replace in Epcot? Well, that would be the World of Motion. Now, there are nods to the World of Motion on Test Track. A lot of the emblems and symbols that are used to kind of show the different parts of the test are emblems that were in the World of Motion. So they did tie those two together, but technically the Test Track sits where World of Motion was. But definitely a fun ride. It is one of the fastest rides that you can find in Florida, and it is the fastest Disney ride. So definitely, if you get a chance to check it out, it is worth it. It is a ton of fun. When it is up and running again, no set dates have been nailed down yet. They keep saying, different parts of the year, but when it reopens, definitely a go-to attraction and definitely a ton of fun. Well, I want to thank you for tuning in this week. I will return next week with more questions and more fun. Make sure you're following us on social media on Mouse in the Mitten on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're watching us over on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let us know what your score is. If you're listening to us as a podcast, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts. If Apple isn't your thing, make sure you follow us everywhere else and leave a 5-star review wherever you can. Now, there's always something new, always something fun to do down in Disney. If you are looking for someone to kind of help guide you and help make sure that you get the most out of every single minute of your vacation, I would love to help plan it and get you all taken care of. To get started, all you got to do is email me at mouseinthemitten@gmail.com and we can get started. Well, hey, my name's Court. The dog's name is Milo. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time.